afternoon. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, all the social media outlets as well. You can find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is local to North Alabama. You can also find us on television worldwide, basically, and that's Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Can you believe you're watching us? Doug McGee has been a guest on this show how many years? And we started out just radio. I mean, it was just radio. And then we went into branched out into social media, and now we're on television, Doug.
Hey, it's amazing. It has been. I don't know how many years it has been. 5, I would say.
Well, I've latched on to you and Wanda like I just latched on to y'all. I mean, because first of all, your love of animals like mine and Philip, like us, we love our dog. We love we even love our chickens. We call them our girls. We'll walk out, we'll say, okay, girls, any eggs today? We'll talk to them like that.
And they feel that they know you're talking to them, and they feel happy because you talk to them. I mean, they have.
Oh, you should see them. When Phil walks out on the deck and he opens up that gate on the deck, they start waddling out there like little kids because they know they're going to get a treat.
And I know a chicken has a brain the size of a pea, probably, but a chicken, I mean, they feel stuff just like we do. I mean,
they most certainly do. They know when you walk out on the deck, it's feed time.
That's right. I mean, that's what we. Last time we talked, it was kind of like, I think these animals, all animals, have emotions, some kind of level of emotions where they can. And so, I mean, I think it's just something we've got to understand better.
God created them, so why not?
That's right.
Absolutely. And by the way, we went to the Cowboy Church in Boaz, and you remember they were watching the show one day, and you guys needed some blankets for the dogs. And those ladies at the Cowboy Church in Boaz, they how many of those blankets they make for y'all?
Oh, I don't know, 100, probably more than 100. And that's good because the goal of the blanket thing was when a dog got adopted, we wanted to send a blanket with them because as a blanket's here, it's going to get attached to smells from the shelter. And I thought maybe there'll be like a comfort thing. Like Linus in Charlie Brown, Linus had the comfort blanket. And we wanted to send a blanket with each dog. And, we're adopting out 100 a month, so that would require a lot of blankets. So they're gone. The ones that they sewed for us are gone, but we've really something I just think was a good idea. That way, if the dog, he's going to a strange home, strange environment, it's going to be nervous, and maybe that blanket might give him some comfort or at least familiarity with his new world.
And this is not even anything you solicited. They called you and said, we want to sew some blankets.
Yeah, and and of course they did a good job because you have to serge around the edges. And another rich thing too, a lot of people bring blankets to us to donate. Well, they're all kinds of size from twins to king size, and this way we cut them all down to like a 4x4 or 5x5 blanket, and they're all standard, which means it's easier for us to store them. And once again, it's kind of a dog size instead of a king size double quilted whatever. We got a 5x5 day, we can kind of get all the dogs. So we really want to keep that going. I thought about buying the equipment if I had a space to do it, and then volunteers come here and sew them and serge them and all that. But one of my dreams.
That'd just be. I think it's a great dream. Now, you and I were talking before the show, and there's something you wanted to talk about. There's a particular topic.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, I've heard about it. Years ago, I was talking to a veterinarian, and he said at that time there was $1 million reward being offered for anybody who could come up with a non-surgical way to fix dogs. I think just neutering, but it may have been spaying and neutering. And I saw him about 3 or 4 months ago, and I was asking about that, and he said they had done this, that this had been developed. And when we was in Wisconsin a couple of weeks ago, there was we were talking about it, and they pulled it up online, and I don't know if it's a scam. I don't know if it's a reality, but there's supposed to be an injection that is the cost is from $5 to $25, no side effects, 97% fish accuracy or I guess whatever you call it. It's 97% effective. No side effects, no surgery involved, and it neuters I think it's just for neutering. The lady was reading all this to me, and I'm just thinking, is this a scam? I've asked a few veterinarians, and I haven't got a lot of feedback from them. Is it something new? Is it something that's not? But I'd like to know if surgery is the only option we've had pretty much to this point to fix dogs, spaying and neutering, surgical. And I've always kind of thought, I wish there was another way. But if this is another way, just a one-time injection, and the cost, neutering up north now just went up, doubled up in the last year up there. And down here, it costs a lot of money to spay and neuter. And if the cost is $5 to $25, that's a game changer. I mean, I would much rather pay $25 to get a dog neutered than whatever, $100 or whatever.
Because I pulled it up and I started reading it. And so if anybody wants to follow along with this, the website is embracepetiinsurance.com. And so they're talking about it. And I really like this alternative. It says no anesthesia. I remember now the sooner you get a dog neutered or a cat spayed, whatever, the sooner you do that, the better it is for the pet. Okay. And less downtime they've got. So Buddy was a puppy when we had this done with him. And so I remember he was just a little dazed coming home, and it took about 24 hours to get back to normal again. I like that idea. And it only takes seconds to administer. It's considered painless. I like it because you're not having to cut them open. I mean, there's no surgery technique. I like that a whole lot better. And complication rates are way below those for castration. And again, the cost is only $5 to $25 per pet.
See, and that's if this is real, and it's not. I mean, and I think it is, but I just don't know where to go with it. I mean, that could be fantastic.
This is life changing. So here's what they say about it. Zutarin it's Z. In case I'm butchering the word here. It's Z as in zebra, EUTERIN, is administered as an injectable directly into the center of each testicle. As such, pet owners have expressed a significant degree of shock and horror that this procedure should be undertaken at all, much less on a patient that remains wide awake. So men, in my experience, have been especially resistant. But let's talk about it. It says, meanwhile, many of my veterinarian colleagues have expressed similar skepticism. I'm thinking it has something to do with money, but that's my thought. That's my thought.
The world of money is the driving force behind everything, pretty much. But
but my point here is they're talking about a 28 gauge needle, which is very little, and not a scalpel. I mean, I'd rather a needle than a scalpel on my buddy. I mean, there's.
I don't know. So a 28 gauge needle is not a very big needle.
That's a little bitty tiny needle. Yeah, because I'm a metal worker and I deal with wiring and stuff like that, my jewelry and my different crafts that I have. So the smaller the number, the smaller that wire is. So in other words, say an 8 gauge wire is going to be pretty big. But then you get down to 28 gauge, that's almost, you can't find it. If you drop it, you're going to have to get a magnet to find it. I mean,
which for me, if I'm conscious, that's the kind of needle that I would want injected,
I'm thinking of me. I mean, I'm thinking about how I would rather if somebody said, Donna, I'm going to have to do surgery. We got to take a gallbladder out, but we're going to use this little tiny 28 gauge needle to do something. Instead of a scalpel, I'm going to be, hey, I'm in.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. If this is real, it seems like it would just be flying out. I mean, everybody would be, I want that because it just seems like it'd be so much less intrusive, and it's a lot less expensive. And I just think, I wonder what, I want to find out more, because if I could bring every dog in here and get them fixed that way, rather than having to haul them up there and get the surgery, bring them back here, make sure, because we have not a lot of times, but with male dogs, when they have surgery, they'll lick on it, and next thing you know, they got to go back to the vet to get it re-sewn back up. We have complications, but that doesn't sound like it'd be just a little injection, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I want to find out more. And I'm going to have to call my vets and just seeing, what's the deal? And
if you're a veterinarian and you'd like to get in contact with Doug, and maybe you have some information about that, whether you're a veterinarian or not, and you'd like to give us more information for the next show, we'll give you some free advertising.
Absolutely.
So we'll mention your name. We will mention your name because you love animals apparently. So, and so Doug, how can folks get in contact with you? They can always send me a message, Donna@donnasedge.com.
And you got a big audience. So I'm hoping that if a veterinarian, a vet tech, anybody knows anything about this would call me at 256-561-2411 or message us on Facebook at Second Chance Shelter. We're the one in Boaz, Alabama. I'd like to know more about it because if it's something that we can do that's a little less intrusive as far as the animal concerned and save funds, and that is a good part. It's an important fact. If it's 25 versus 150, that's a big difference there. And it's not about the money. It really is. I think it seemed like it'd be so much easier on the animal.
Something, Doug, there's a veterinarian, I won't mention his name yet, but we might get him on the show and give him some free advertising. But I know that he does alternative medicine to his animals.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're doing natural.
Yeah.
Naturopathy that he likes to use. So he may know something about it. He's in this area. So I'll see if I can find him. I'll see if I can dig him up.
Yeah. Any information I can get is a tool that we can use to make things better here. But I'm just real curious about it because once again, if it is that easy to administer, and why aren't we doing it? Why haven't we been doing it since it got, what's going on? I want to find out more about it so we can maybe bring that plan here and make things better here.
It could be the same reason some medical doctors don't want alternative, natural healing. Could be that because you make a bunch of money if you're, I think it comes down to the pocketbook. But here's the way I look at it. I think if you're the first veterinarian who starts doing that in this area, you're going to get all the business.
Yeah, and people will think, hey, here's a veterinarian. I really believe the reputation of a veterinarian that did that would be more animal friendly than somebody who, or somebody who overprescribes medicine. I've seen a lot of veterinarians like that. Everything you're spending thousands of dollars on medication for dogs, and rightfully so. I'm not here to question their medical practices or whatever. I'm just here to say I've seen people spend thousands of dollars a month on animal medications, and maybe that's what they need. But is there any alternative? Just like surgeries, I know in somebody saying in Chicago now, neuters and spays are almost $1,000 to get a dog neutered or spayed. Well, if you can do this for 20, it's just and wired at $1,000. I'm sure it goes back to this. Always goes back to this.
We know why. We know exactly why. Doug, we've got to go into a commercial break. Can you believe half the show's already over? I can't believe it.
Flies.
We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in there. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. and let Bronda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. We are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. One of my favorite guests with me right now, his name is Doug McGee with Second Chance Animal Shelter. We've been talking a lot about this new idea about spade, neutering, that kind of thing. But let's talk a little bit about volunteering. Can you guys use some more volunteers?
Always. I mean, that's something that so during the summer we pick up a few high school students or something maybe, but volunteers can be so effective for us. One of the projects, remember you came out to the shelter and you did that flower, the canes outside the fence. We're getting ready to paint that fence. In fact, they're measuring it today. We're trying to clean out some of the stuff today, and we want to get a volunteer work party to paint it because you're probably talking 250 feet of wooden fence. It's going to need to be painted, and I'm not much of a painter, never have been. So that's not. I mean, I might be out there, but I don't think I'll be a good painter. But hey, volunteers. If we can get that done by volunteers versus having to pay somebody or take employees and let them do it, it would just be fantastic. So keep a check on our Facebook page because we're probably going to have a painting day. People come out and I want to tie somehow the Mark Twain thing in there, Huckleberry Finn, just whatever, try to encourage.
That's a good idea right there, Doug. I like your creative ideas. Something. I think if you are a painter and you do this for a living and you volunteer out, that gets you some free advertising.
Yeah, I mean, you come out here. I mean, hey, we're all about it. And like I said, I don't know. I mean, painting is not that hard to do, but there is a knack to it, and I don't have that. But still, we're going to want to paint that. They're going to measure it today. Probably within the next week, we'll get our paint. So keep a check on our Facebook page because we'll ask for volunteers to come help us throw. And I don't even know the principle behind. But do we need to put primer down? What do we need to do to make it where it'll be effective? I'm just not. I don't know enough about it. I guess I need to go on YouTube and how to paint a fence or something to find out the right way to do it so that it looks good and it lasts.
Yeah, it just needs to be cleaned off because if you put it on like say it's maybe it had rain residue or whatever, you put it on there, it's not going to stay on there. Just need to kind of power wash it or wash it off really good first and then let that dry, then paint it.
So wash it like with a pressure washer kind of thing, or
if you got one.
The reason being it's fence wood. It's so it's kind of rough textured. And I didn't know, and some of it's actually got green on it, where it's got mold.
Yeah, that's got to come off.
Oh, that does. Okay, see, and once again,
it does because if you don't do it, the paint's not going to stick, and in 2 years, it's going to be peeling off. So it's got to be completely cleaned before.
Well, see, we talked about do we need to put a coat of Kills on underneath it, or some kind of a.
That'd be great.
If we do that, do we still need to pressure wash it and clean all those?
Yeah, I would. Because even that can come off. Even the kilts can come off. But really, you won't even have, you can get paint that has the kilts in it.
Okay, that's what Teresa said this morning.
So you're saving a step. You need to power wash it, though. But going ahead and use that kind of paint. It costs a little bit more, but really, by the time you figure in buying the kilts and the paint at the same time, it's still going to be about the same anyway. So,
I know a lot of your viewers are probably thinking, man, that guy's a moron. He don't know any more about painting than that. But
no, your life is about saving animals, and that's your life, and that's that's important.
Yeah. And I tell you another thing on the paint. Once we get it done, we're going to try to come up with a base color, probably a shade of white. We want to get volunteers again from schools, different schools, and invite them to take like a 10 or 15 foot section and do like a mural, like say Gunnersville or Albertville or Geraldine or Fife, whatever high schools, get students there that are interested, come and say, hey, here's your 10-foot section or whatever section. We'll measure it out and see what we got. Paint it with something to do with the animal theme, and just invite them to have like a mural, dress it up and make it and get the students involved. As be volunteer, come out, we'll provide the paint or you provide the paint. We'll figure that one out. But we thought it'd be neat to have a wall with the different perceptions of animal welfare, whatever, down different based on the high schools.
That's an excellent idea.
I think the fence is around 200 feet long, maybe 250. So if each one we could probably do at least 10 or 15 schools could have a 10-foot section or 15-foot section of fence that they can use their creativity and come up with something that just kind of catches everybody's attention.
Well, I got an idea. Geraldine Bulldogs. Paint a bulldog on there.
That reminds me of the time they came out here. They collected a bunch of dog food. All the Bulldogs from Geraldine High School came as the band, I believe, and collected a bunch of dog food and brought it down here. And back to your theme of volunteers, they are so, so important to everything that we do. We need them. We had a volunteer come out and cut a tree limb off of that fell on one of our fences. He came out and with his chainsaw wouldn't let us pay him even for fuel or nothing, and he cut that tree down. So volunteers, we are dependent.
And
if you want to volunteer, show up. All you got to do is pretty much show up here, and we'll put you to work doing something. Our volunteer, we're talking about hospice. That's a volunteer effort. If you want to, not hospice, but fostering. If you want to foster, that's a volunteer or act. And it helps the shelter. So 1,000 different ways you can volunteer at animal shelter, and we'll find something for you to do. Well,
if you come out on the weekends and just walk a dog, is that considered volunteering too? That's an easy volunteer.
It is. That is that's considered a volunteer, except for one exception. A lot of times the court system, we call them volunteers, but they're really doing what's community service. The court says, hey, you got a fine to pay. Rather than paying your fine, you can work it off at the animal shelter. If you do 40 hours or 20 hours, you don't have to pay the speeding ticket, that kind of thing. So we get a lot of those that choose that option. If you do that, we're going to have a little bit more higher expectations rather than coming out and petting puppies. If you come out and pet puppies and socialize them, that's volunteering. But if you're coming for community service, we're going to have to have a little bit more than that. Yeah. I'm just letting you know. Don't think you can come out here and say, I'm going to go and play with the puppies for a couple hours, and that's going to be my penalty for my speeding ticket. We'll have to talk about that one. But if you just want to straight out.
Now, we got about a little bit less than 3 minutes left in this segment. So is there anything you guys need, like food, blankets, anything that folks can bring if they don't have time to volunteer?
Always need puppy chow, and we use Purina puppy chow because any dog under 6 months old, we try to keep them on puppy chow. It's healthier for them, more of the vitamins they would need. That's probably the number one thing that we always need. And another thing we're constantly buying is paper towels, and those handy wipe things. They're normally in the yellow tube, or about this, like Lysol handy wipes. We use tons of them, and we buy them a lot of times. So if somebody happened to have a coupon for something like that and get it for free, or want to buy that's something we can definitely use. Paper towels, the handy wipes, and puppy chow. And one other thing is newspaper. Now this is something that it cost anything. But we line the bottom of our crates, and we have about 40 crates with small dogs, puppies in them. We line them with newspapers. It's a lot cheaper than the puppy pads. So newspapers. If somebody wants to just drop newspapers by, we'll put them to good use. And we use probably a ton a month of newspapers. So if you're just out this way,
and you're helping the environment. You're helping the environment at the same time.
Yeah, because when we get done with it, it goes to the recycling pile. Because you wouldn't want to recycle when it's done with us, but still, it's a cheap way. It's a newspaper. If you got some, want to drop it off here, we'll definitely put it to good use.
Do you guys just need somebody just sometimes for a cleanup day?
We do. We always clean. We have one lady, and her husband retired from military, and she comes in here 3 nights a week. Normally works from like 4:30 to 9:30, and all she does is clean kennels. I mean, that's her volunteer effort. She's been coming for years. Every time she goes all the way through the kennel, all the way through the whole shelter, deep cleaning every kennel. I mean, I'm talking really scrubbing. Wow. And every time she makes a round and gets all the kids, she tells me, I've got it in it again. And she'll start again, just like clockwork. She's so dependable. And we don't see her much because she's down here after we close, and she's down here by herself. She normally goes like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and spends 4 or 5 hours doing nothing but deep cleaning, and seems to love every minute of it. Because I've asked her, I've been down here working at nighttime and when she come in, talk to her. And I said, I sure do appreciate what you do. And she said, I just love it. She goes right out to clean it. And she pets the dogs and kind of interacts with the dogs as she does it. And she's probably been doing it at least 3 years now, every 3 times a week, 4 or 5 hours a time. So that's a good volunteer too.
Okay, Doug, we're going to have to call it a day. 30 minutes just flew by. What would you like to tell everybody before you go? You got about 15 seconds.
Adopt a big dog, number one. And our number one rule or suggestion in life, if you're going to get a dog, get a big dog, because that's the ones that need the help. And come visit us at the shelter, come volunteer. We're here to help and spay or neuter your animals. And if anybody knows anything about that injection for neutering, please call so I can rest my mind if you're thinking about it.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you so much for being on the show. Tell Wanda I said hello.
If I can catch her, I will. Thank you, and you have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.